let them shock you. I said, no, let them surprise you.
All right.
Okay.
And the best wire in Nigeria is
I go put that part. All right, guys. So we have this vehicle with us, and the clients complained two things. There are two individual distinct lights on the dashboard.
after you see impact my
So the first one is, I'm not starting the car, but normally when you put the car in sorry about that. When you put the car in, when you put the car in ignition, of course, there's going to be a check engine light, which should tell you that the vehicle's ECU is working. Now, this is where the problem is. When I start the vehicle, the check engine light remains, and also we have an ABS light. So I've done a scan on it already, and there are two things that is not good in this vehicle. So the first one is the oxygen sensor. When I checked it, it's complaining about the bank 1 sensor 1. And then as for the ABS is complaining about the wheel speed sensor at this back. Now, since when I've been working with many of Toyotas, here are the few things I've noticed about these vehicles. The wheel speed sensors, sometimes the sensors itself is not bad, but I noticed for some reason the wires, that's the harness that these sensors are connected to, just usually spoil for no reason. So that being said, let's do a quick test on the O2 sensor.
motor. So when you just carry out the wire good.
All right, for testing, there are two distinct things that you want to check. So depending on if I have access to the FSM, I will know the particular one. So what we need to do, we wanted to check for the continuity. So we have now, the best way for Toyotas is to locate these two black wires. If you can find these two black wires and test for the continuity, first to check if there is signals, there is power getting through to the oxygen sensor. So now it shows here that there is power going through it, which is good. But now there is one other thing that is left. So it means that the continuity test on this one is working. However, it doesn't stop there. Here is the second thing you need to know. So because when you go to the market to buy O2 sensor, what they will test for you is just the continuity and see if there is a continuity coming through. But the continuity does not really mean that the oxygen sensor is working. What you want to check is the resistance. Let me check for the resistance. Yeah, wow. So let's check if it has any resistance at all. And there is a good amount of resistance in it, so which means that this oxygen sensor is working. All right, I'm going to rescan the vehicle now to be certain this is what I'm reading. All right, so right now I'm hooked up to the computer, so let me launch Toyota Tech Stream, and so that we can read the code and see why it's not working. So remember the continuity, I tested the continuity, it's tested all right. And then sorry about this, I tested the continuity, it tested right. Oh, why is it? I tested the continuity and it tested fine. I tested the resistance. It had the resistance in it, so normally it should work. So if for any reason it's not working, I'm going to be using the computer now to scan and check for diagnostics code if there's any fault code. All right, so we are now in the Toyota Tech Stream, and from what we can see, we have a P2238 code. And this explains why the sensor itself was reading but it's bringing an error. So what happened is, it seems that the sensor, while it is still working, it seems like the sensor itself is bad. And this is interesting. There is no shortage or the chip inside got burned, but the circuit seems to be low. So what that calls for is that we'll need to replace the oxygen sensor. And also there is some other thing as well that I need to check, and that is the ABS. And I've scanned that one before, but I want to be certain and I want to be sure what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be relating it to the client now that he has to change his auto sensor and the speed sensor. So, but let me verify of the speed sensor and see for myself again. And yes, we have C1333. If you don't know what that means, it means that the rear speed sensor, the one at the back on my left, it has an open circuit. So I've noticed one or two things with these vehicles. Like I said initially, either the sensor itself is bad, or there is some sort of wiring problem going on, because I've seen a lot of these vehicles that it will bring this code, you think that the sensor is bad, only to find out that the sensor's wire, maybe they've cut on the inside, and then when you join them back, they'll start working. So which is what I'm going to be attempting to do. So with that being said, let's start. All right, from this diagnostics, if you look at the voltage here, remember it's saying that the voltage, if you check the code, it's saying that the voltage is wrong. But if you look at the sorry, give me a second. Yeah, the AFS sensor. The AFS sensor is the is for the AFS sensor, bank 1 sensor 1, which stands for airflow sensor, or the lambda sensor, which is the oxygen sensor. If you check the voltage is at 3.3, which is normal. This is the normal voltage it is supposed to be, directly from the factory. However, the current is where the problem is. Notice that the current is in 0 milliamp. Now, if normally, if the vehicle is running rich, this should be in minus, so it should be reading minus. And if it's running lean, it should be going to like 1.5 or something. So if I raise it, there's supposed to be a change in value, but there is no change in any value. So which means that this sensor, and this voltage was the reason why the continuity test was working. That was why it was showing that it was working. This is why I said that just because the test an airflow meter for you does not necessarily mean the airflow meter is good. Sorry, not airflow meter, the O2 sensor is good. Just because they test it doesn't mean it's good. Look at the current draw. There is no current draw on it, so it cannot detect it if the vehicle is running lean or rich. And this is why this oxygen sensor is bad. If you take this to the market now, they will test it and tell you that it's working, but the truth is this is not working. This is a dead oxygen sensor. So we're going to replace it, and let's see how it goes. So another code that I saw is the knock sensor, and it is very hard for a knock sensor code to come up except something is actually really wrong. So now there's two sensors we are going to be changing. All right, so this is going to be the end of the video. I called the client, I explained to him the knock sensor is bad, so is the oxygen sensor, but it seems that he doesn't have the money at the moment, so I can't be waiting. So I just wanted to point out some diagnostics for you, so you guys can know how and why you should not just use only multimeter to test. You should also use diagnostic software to check.